Hi YouTube family, Lisa A. Romano here, the ACOA Life Coach, trying to help you concise your understandings of what codependency is and what it means to be the adult child of an alcoholic, and to make really complex, confusing ideas and what it is to be an ACOA. Just try to cut to the chase, man, so we can all understand it very quickly what the hell's going on in our life. So let's start today with the idea of codependency. What is codependency? Codependency is basically what happens to a child when they have been born to dysfunctional parents. So dysfunctional parents do almost across the board the same types of things. They teach the child to worry more about what other people think about them than what they think about themselves. That's right. So if you have a mom who is an alcoholic and she's just leaves the house a mess and there's no food in the refrigerator, and she's more worried about getting toasted than she is about taking care of the responsibilities and her obligations to the house, and then you, being the most emotionally honest child perhaps, says to mom, Mom, what's up? This house is a mess, there's never any food in the refrigerator. A dysfunctional mom who is an alcoholic might turn around and say, who do you think you're talking to? Who says I have to keep the refrigerator stocked for you? You're lucky you have a roof over your head. You pay my rent? So that's pretty much how narcissistic type alcoholic moms speak to us. And the message is that our feelings don't matter. The message is, be afraid of your feelings and be afraid of opening your mouth, because when you do, I'm shooting you down. I'm shooting you down. I'm going to infuse you with guilt. I'm going to confuse you. I'm going to sting like a butterfly, fly like a butterfly and sting like a bee, as Muhammad Ali would say. And so as the child, we get afraid to talk about how we feel. What happens when we grow up? When we grow up, we don't know how to talk about how we feel. So I believe that when we're wounded as children and we have situations with our parents where we feel very much ignored by them, especially during great times of stress, I really believe that our root chakra grows roots into the ground. And we are stuck in that time and space energetically until we're able to allow those feelings to move through us through the help of being validated by a life coach or a therapist or an energy healer or someone like that. Or, you do the work yourself. It can be done. But I really do think that's where the stuck feeling comes from, when ACOAs and codependents and alike speak about, how they feel in their bodies. Like, Lisa, I'm stuck. I keep going back to the same points in time. And that's because you were traumatized. And when you stuffed your feelings during the times of trauma and you were not allowed to verbalize how you felt, and then were possibly shamed and guilted for expressing how you felt, you really did grow these roots into the ground. And so part of the work that we do in coaching is making the client aware of that, making you aware of that, and helping you transcend that experience so that you can release these roots that are stuck in this time and space. Now, why do codependents attract narcissists? Well, codependents are very immature emotionally, and not because of their own fault, because of what was done to them as children. And so are narcissists. So a codependent needs to be validated by outside self. At least that's what they've been brainwashed to think. You see, a codependent child thinks that mommy needs to validate me and then I'll feel special. If mommy can love me, then I'll feel whole. Codependent children are always waiting for mom to give them the love that they deserve. And it doesn't happen. If you're born to a dysfunctional mother and father, I'm sorry, dear one, it's not going to happen. In most cases, it doesn't. And that's why we have to learn to validate ourselves. But let's rewind the tape. We're talking about a codependent adult now going out into life, and why the hell we nice codependents, we kind-hearted people that want to love everybody and want to be validated and take care of people who are naturally empathic, why do we keep attracting these narcissistic people? It's very simple. Believe it or not, it's very simple. And I believe that once you see it, you can be free of it. Okay? So your heredity does not have to determine your destiny. Okay? There is God's DNA within you, dear one, but you have to use the brain that God gave you to work this stuff out. So here we go. A codependent believes unconsciously, has this dysfunctional belief system that's running in their brain that they're not aware of consciously, that leads them to believe that when they finally get validated by this other being, they will be enough. So like me, when I was married, I waited for my husband, my first husband, to like pat me on the back for, cooking a great meal, for pat me on the back for doing such a great job with the kids, and pat me on the back for, taking care of the house and being so kind to his parents and his sister when she was ill. And I was waiting for that pat on the back because then I thought that I'd finally be enough. See, what I didn't realize was I attracted him into my life because he was so much like my mom energetically. And it really was my mom's validation that I never received. And so as an adult, I attracted her energetic twin, if you will. And in that relationship, found myself repeating the same patterns because that was my emotional set point. This type of love, or this my vision of love, or my understanding of love was that dysfunctional, narcissistic, passive aggressive type person. Of course, I didn't know that then. I was a lizard then, but I'm not a lizard anymore. Now, my God, I'm shouting it from the rooftops, and if you can't hear me, I must be doing something wrong. But I'm not going to stop talking about this stuff because it is freeing. It is absolutely freeing. So I tend to talk a lot. Forgive me. But anyway, so we're codependents and we're looking to be validated outside of self. So who do we attract? We attract narcissists that absolutely need to control other people so that they can get their egotistical needs met, their immature egotistical needs met. So the goal of a narcissist is to be able to take power over someone. Perfect. Codependent gives you their power. So what happens in terms of on a quantum level, we have a codependent who's like, need me, love me, validate me, please see the good in me. And we have a narcissist who's thinking, I'm going to take from you. Who can I take from? Who can I manipulate? Who can I control? Who can I make worry about me threatening them with the relationship, the loss of this relationship? Codependents fear the loss of the relationship. They will hold on to a relationship even if it sucks. They'll hold on to it because they don't want to be alone. You see, their thinking is, but I need this relationship in order to finally feel enough. So how can I risk losing it? And narcissists know this on a quantum level. On a quantum level, unfortunately, the level that they're at, they absolutely need to attract a codependent who is controllable, who is more than willing to give the power over to them. So I really hope that this explanation of why codependents attract narcissists and why narcissists absolutely need codependents in their life to exist, because they fuel the narcissistic fire. Um, I often tell my clients, who are codependent and who have narcissistic partners that, for instance, I had a client who recently said something to me along the lines where, my husband told me that if I didn't go to this gala with him, that he was going to divorce me. And so I went to this gala, even though I knew that there were going to be women there that he slept with, and that made me uncomfortable. And he had very poor boundaries when it came to these other women, and I didn't want to put myself in that situation. But because he threatened me with divorce, I went. Okay, that's absolutely, you're defining what happens in a codependent narcissistic relationship. So what I said back to her was to teach her what it sounds like to be non-codependent. It sounds like this. So your husband comes home and he says to a non-codependent woman, listen, I want to go to this gala, and if I don't care how you feel about it, you have to come. And if you don't come, I'm going to divorce you. A non-codependent woman says something like, you're telling me what to do, you're not asking me? And is that a threat? You're threatening me with divorce if I choose not to go? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going. Your move, big guy. Now what? That's what a non-codependent woman says. Like a real non-codependent woman isn't going to tolerate being told what to do by a narcissistic spouse. Not going to tolerate it. She's going to see that as a red flag. And if it consistently happens and it doesn't change, she will leave the relationship. And she'll say, bye-bye. Bye-bye. I'm not a lizard. I know that I create my own reality. And when I stay here and I put up with that type of speech, I'm telling the universe that I'm supposed to put up with that type of speech. So I really hope that this has inspired you, dear one. Oh my God, you are so enough. And we come to this life experience as souls knowing that we must manifest our souls in time-space reality. That's called self-actualization. And you cannot become self-actualized if you remain codependent and below the veil and attract narcissists, because narcissists, they are like egg scramblers in our brain. Their job they're tuned up to scramble our brain and scramble our thought process. And if they can scramble your thought process, they can get you to tune out from self. And you need to tune into the way you feel and own it, and then work within that vibration. And eventually, dear one, your life changes, I promise. My life is proof of it. Okay, I've said enough. I've gone over my 10-minute goal. So, dear one, you are loved. Please check out my videos on the rest of my channel, and check out my website, www.healingselfesteem.com. Know you are loved. I bow to the love and the light in you. Please subscribe and share. Namaste.